So there was one time in active addiction where I actually fought my dad. So I figured I would share a story time today. Let's get into it. To give a little context, I oftentimes would go home to my parents' house. They live kind of out. They're 15 minutes from a nice little town, but they are still out, like kind of in the woods on a mountaintop. So I would let them know ahead of time, hey, I really need to try to detox, and I would get clean at their house. Now this particular time, it was one of the first times I had let them know I really need to get clean and I need you guys to take all of my electronics, lock me in the house, and don't let me use, basically. Don't let me keep in contact with anybody. And I was also dating my abusive ex-boyfriend at the time, who is the one that actually got me into drug addiction in the first place, but he was also physically abusive, so it was a really messed up situation, and I blame him for a lot. But either way, that's the context. I was still dating him at the time, and I begged my parents to let me try to get clean at home. I guess naturally, when you get into drug addiction or have to deal with dealers, all that type of stuff, you just learn to be street smart. You learn how to navigate and survive in that type of situation. So whenever I put myself in those situations where I could not get anything, I somehow always found a way, which is sad, very unfortunate. I was too clever for my own good. Anyway, on this particular day, I had decided, okay, I think it was day 4, it was the first few days, and y'all know 3 and 4, fuck those days. Those days are when hell comes crashing down. I've already been where I've already not slept for a few days, and then on top of that, I'm feeling the absolute worst. Those are the days I think about whenever I consider using, because nothing compares to how horrible mentally and physically you feel when you're withdrawing. It's fucking terrible. Don't mind the background change. I had to move because sometimes people pull up right next to me and I just feel uncomfortable recording with somebody sitting there. So whatever. Back to the story. Yeah, I decided I was going to find a way to use, and I was able to find an old laptop in my room that I could turn on, connect to Wi-Fi, and message somebody through Messenger or Facebook or something, and basically set it up to where they were going to drop it off outside my mailbox. And my parents' driveway is really long, so I knew I was going to have to find a way to get all the way to the bottom of that driveway, get what I need. And I was so sick at the time, so I was freaking out knowing that it was going to be out there soon. So I'm walking back to the house, basically acting oh, it's fine, I'm actually going to stay, never mind. I made it really obvious, but all that was on my mind was getting that dope inside of me, because I was so fucking desperate for it. And you can see it just gets me riled up thinking about it, because I just know the state of mind that I was in. So of course, instead of just going inside and acting oh man, I'm just gonna stick it out and just acting natural, I go straight to the bathroom and lock the door. Duh, how obvious could I make it? Next thing you know, I think it was my mom or dad, they were knocking on the door what are you doing in there? And because I didn't answer immediately, because I was literally drawing up, at the time I was using the needle, so I was drawing it up when they were banging on the door, so I couldn't just stop what I was doing because everything was out. You can't just hide that shit real quick. And next thing I know, my dad starts kicking the door down. And this is where this story just gets kind of sad. I hate talking about it. But this was just where my addiction took me. So he broke the door down, and I had just got it pulled up. I was right about to do it. So I was oh my God. That just shows you, I was in a really bad place. But I could not wait. And now, of course, everything was just becoming a whole mess. He broke the door down, grabbed the stuff, my mom took the stuff away, and then I was physically fighting my dad. He was like pulling me out of the bathroom and like physically like having to restrain me because I was so upset. I was so pissed. I was like, if you squirt that stuff out, I will find out another way to use, and it's not going to be here in a safe area. I was basically like, I decided to use, and don't squirt that shit out. But then my mom had already squirted it out, and man, I'm just such a, sorry, I feel really bad, but I was basically like, you fucked up. Because now, like, I decided I'm going to use, now I'm going to go through, I'm going to do anything I can now to go get high, because I decided I was going to do it, and y'all stood in my way. I was such a fucking brat. So basically, when things calmed down a little bit, which they weren't calm, they were basically, like, trying to figure out what to do with me. My dad let me go. He stopped holding me down because I was freaking out. And then they were conversing. I ran out the back door. Like, I was pissed because I was about to finally feel better. Like, I was pissed. So I was like, I was this close, and there's no way I was gonna stay and tough it out after being that close to getting it. So I ran out the back door, ran through the forest. I ran through thorns. There was cuts all over me. There were thorns, cuts everywhere. And I mean, I don't know why my luck was so good in active addiction, but the minute I got down to their road, which, like I said, they're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. The minute I got down to that road, somebody drove by, I waved, they picked me up and they're like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, will you just take me, da-da-da? Like, they didn't ask me any questions or anything. I was just like, can you please just take me into town? And they were like, yes. So that's how I got to town. I figured out the rest myself. Of course, that was a failed attempt. But after that, I promised them, look, anyway, I ended up getting clean after that, but it took a couple more tries. That was just a really dark moment. I hated that my dad fought me, but guess what? Me and my family were really close now. They're so proud of me. I'm really proud of myself. And I only share these stories because we all do stupid shit in our active addiction. And when I hear these other stories from other people, I appreciate the vulnerability. I appreciate the transparency, because I give myself such a hard time over the things I've done. So just knowing that other people have done these things or things like that too, and that they've fixed these relationships like me, I'm fixing these relationships. That makes everything, it just makes me feel a lot better. So yeah, if you're in recovery, keep going. That was my story.